G'day Space Engineers and welcome to a huge episode number 10. As last episode I showed you what I was going to build off camera. Guess what? It's all done. I've got the infinite drill tunneler behind me as I flick to my character right here. And I've done a little changes off camera because what I found is that this drill or design gets all of the components from what it drills out throughout its entire life period as it kind of builds the tunnel underneath the floor. It changes that ore from the refineries into components and the assemblers and all that sorts of stuff, except it doesn't have the actual ability to make the large steel tubes and the computers found in the merge block and the connector, but at the same time it does recycle them. So all this design needs is those like 50 or 60 computers and about 30 large steel tubes, and it will never ever need any more. It already has the production quota mod installed, so all of these assemblers will actually just continuously produce whatever this tunneler actually needs to continuously build up its floor to continue through its tunneling process. I've also done a little bit of changes, so I'll just disconnect this entire drill itself. So I'll actually go ahead and why not just start it up right now? Just go into the seat and just press button 1 like so. It's really simple, just uses timer blocks to count out how far the pistons need to go before actually retracting them all by decreasing the velocity. So this connector will actually move on to the next one that will be built up in the process. So what this needs to be done is that once this actually goes through one of its design phases, I will actually just go ahead and disconnect this. I've also got to turn this merge block off so it becomes its own grid that I then should be able to reconnect back to my base. And I've done that specifically so the assemblers and the refineries that are connected to this grid alone does not mess with my base's assembly quota. So the one just here, I'll go into it very quickly. It doesn't mess with any of these because these numbers on my base's assembler is a lot higher than what is found on these sorts of assemblers. If I go to the steel, just scroll on down, it might not have it. This assembler itself might just be on a loop. It's just repeating 10 steel plates, and I've got 2 of those assemblers. You can turn more or less of the modules on if need be, but as is what it should need to continuously build throughout. So we've finally got all this in. It's actually really good timing. So we've just got the welders on the bottom here, and there will definitely be a 0.5 episode where I'll go into depth on all 3 of these designs in a little bit more detail, as I did finally print this one up also with a couple changes again because I'm a dum-dum. In the original blueprint, since I've got the multi-grid projector plugin installed at the moment, I need to get that large grid, that's the drill, large printer projector. It's somehow forgotten it. Projector large. Let's go into the blueprints, and the most recent should scroll on down. I have uploaded these or updated them to the Steam Workshop, and I'm going to be printing up in this episode and setting up the simple atmospheric cargo drone for ice specifically. That one should be it right there, and it isn't even lined up. Give me a second and I'll be back in a sec to get this done. There we go. So now that's all lined up correctly. I'm not too sure. I must have deleted it or something throughout the thing. But these pistons right here will not be able to be printed up regardless because it's too closely connected to the one underneath, and it just will not allow me to do it. So I've changed up its programming just slightly from what I'll eventually be uploading to the workshop without this top bit. It'll just be what is seen in this episode specifically, just to make it a lot easier on everyone, because this will just work as is, and then you can just raise it up or lower it down to get more or whatever it is depending on where that ore is specifically. So let's go in here and let's go and quickly check how this is going. Yep, absolutely fantastic. So now that's all printed up, what I'm going to do now is disconnect that right there. and disconnect that right there. So we have some sort of power. It's only got one battery at the moment, which should be more than enough, just for the fact that specifically I've placed this battery right here on the separated grid, just so when this piston disconnects from the bottom one, it actually becomes its own thing through like leveling itself out using this landing gear just there. So it needs its own power, and so does the base, to make sure that these sorters are actually in the correct orientation, as that will pull out or push in depending on whether or not it is connected through its programming or timer blocks and all that sorts of stuff. And that did not get welded up because I probably disconnected it at the really bad time. So let's just grab one of them and let's just go and build this up quick. So at least this can continuously build, and we'll wait for it to trigger up. I'm going to go get another one of those. There we go. And I can just plonk them right in there. That should be fine. Let's get like 2 or 3 of these connectors. And then I'll get a couple of these merge blocks placed in. There we go. Just grab some of that and dump them in there. So now that should have more than enough resources to actually continuously build throughout. So we should get a quick trigger right here. Perfect timing. I love when that thing happens. So we should recycle all of this, and it will just grind it on down. That'll drop down. It'll still be able to get it. Excellent. We actually get to see the trigger on this one. And I'll probably have to alter the floors blueprint that this projector itself uses, just to turn up the brightness and intensity of the lights, so I don't have to use my character's lights the whole time, but it's just for this bit so you can see what this is going to do. So I'll even flick to the spectator camera and get on over here so you can actually see what's going on without it being too loud. I'll alter that in editing, so no worries. But yeah, it just drills on through, stays stabilized through this non-friction tire or wheel, whatever you want to call it, and then it actually stabilizes itself and locks onto that landing gear when it needs to trigger on over. So we just built up the turbine, just raised it up as efficiently and effectively, so this is pretty much max what I am going to get out of this height and in this tunnel. It's directly in the middle. It's even distance away from both walls. But yes, it is closer up here than it is down below. And I'm not sure, but if I lower it down or raise it up, this will not be as effective. It's going to be about 200 kilowatts, where above it, it would be about 190, 180-ish, or below that, it drops to even like 114 and below us. So this is really just the money spot where this gets. On average, I've pulled out about 200 kilowatts from both of these. And each one of these refineries should take about 3.4... What is it? No. 2.8 times... what's the name? So it's 5.6 megawatts since there's 2 refineries on this. So there's 1 and then there's 2 just there. So this should all be able to be connected up as everything. But my bases... assemblers are all disconnected from that. So let's get going on the episode and let's get this printed up and set up in this episode. And then in the extra one, I'll explain exactly how it's all built, how you can do it yourself, and then I'll probably upload it to the Steam Workshop. So make sure you check the description in 0.5 or episode 10.5, as this will be in it on the workshop and mod.io for you. So let's increase the velocity. I'm guessing... Yep, there we go. Let's just push him on over. And then turn them off when they get pretty close, maybe a little bit further. I don't want it to get inside that connector, so let's decrease the velocity a little bit. And that should work right there. So let's turn on the welders and let's see how this goes and prints up. There's the connector and boom. I love watching this stuff. Printers are so easy when you get the hang of it. Like, they really, really, really are. Look how quick this is. And yes, I do have some solar panels because I want this to be completely redundant on itself. So if I ever ran out of ice, I'm still able to go and use this drone to collect it once more. So let's just lock that. Let's turn them on and let's just pull it back just a little bit. Get all of that done, and that should be 100%. Fantastic. Let's turn the welders off and retract the pistons a bit more by turning them back on. So what I need to do is I need to jump on top of it, and we're facing this way, so let's do this. This one here. Remote control. Ooh, which one is it? Which one is it? Let's just do this. Ice drone. That's what I love about the Build Vision 3.0. Just being able to do that and specifically knowing which one is which. Ice drone. There we go. Perfect. And then we'll just control it. Excellent. Let's disconnect, and then we'll need to turn that merge block. Printer merge block, it's already off. Let's just disconnect, and I'll just go ahead and use Build Vision once again to turn that off. Oh, no, not show on HUD. Turn block off. There we go, because the thruster's on. It shouldn't drop out of the sky or anything like that. This drone seriously could not be any more simpler, and I need to figure out where I'm going to be connecting this, which I'm probably going to connect it just off from this welder here, but we can go and place at least 1 or 2 of these GPSs right now and bring it on back. So I'll fly on over to the drill platform that I've just altered again off camera, as Ben, one of my members on YouTube, actually mentioned that I should turn this ice platform into a hydrogen platform, so it just actually turns all that ice into the hydrogen I eventually want at the end of the day anyway. But the power requirements needed on it actually makes the grid here a lot more complex than what it really needs to be. So I can just use this simplified cargo drone to actually do the same thing and then just get it set up automatically. I'll show you everything you need to know, so we can just go ahead and lock to the connector. Let's go GPS, ice, drill, dock. Yep. Let's disconnect and fly directly up just a little bit. Let's go about 100 and something. That should be good. Up on the keyboard, and let's go approach. Excellent. Let's go back to camera 1 and let's fly on back and very quickly set up a very easy dock and easy vanilla automatic and automated trigger that I've got an extra event controller specifically for that job on this drone already, so it should be really, really good. We did not pick up any ice for the fact that I didn't trigger one of my timers called the load timer to actually switch the sorters I have on this drone around, so it wouldn't, well, the slowing down on this one ain't the best. Is not the best at all. So let's just go ahead and connect this on to the printer so it will charge up while we're doing all this nice and easy. There we go, and lock just there. Nice. Let's just jump over there and turn that projector off so there's no performance issues in my game or anything like that. Any projectors that you've got on and loaded in your game will increase the file size, the time it takes to load the game, as well as the lag, performance, whatever you call it, kind of issues you have in game itself. All those thrusters shouldn't exactly be using too much power, so we should be all right on that. And I'm going to check. Yep, I do not want to run out of hydrogen again. It's like my main mission now to not run out of hydrogen and add to that jetpack counter. Let's just not do that today, shall we? So what I want to do is I'll get a sorter on here, because I only ever want ice coming into this thing right here. So I want some steel plates and some interior plates, the normal building blocks of Space Engineers. So I'll get 100 of them, like 50 of them, and some construction components. You need construction components mainly for placing lights and things like that. So let's get this like that one. I'll need to get a spare cargo container, even a small one, just like that. And then I'm going to get an event controller. Yep. Don't worry, stick with me here. Event controller, and then we'll want to bring it out a smidge. Even a corner, and just bring it up there, and a thingamabooby there. So yeah, I'll just weld this up nice and quick, and I'll be back in just a second. No, not grind. Weld. Thank you. While we're at it, and since we don't have any projectors on in the background, or at least we shouldn't, it should be okay to bring him out. Oh, hello, Steve. Or is it Alan? I don't know. Let me know in the comments below what you prefer, Alan or Steve. Alan. Anyway, yeah, let me know if you've actually seen that video and you know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead. Oh, that might have stuffed up the GPS at the ice dock. But at least you've seen that one, so I can do that quickly as well. And we are now building all this up, which I need to finish off. So I'll be back in a second, and I'll replace that GPS again, because I forgot to get rid of that merge block. I don't want the same problems I had with the cargo drone, which at the moment, the only problem I'm having with this, it's completing its job, but it's actually dumping too much ore from my base into the drilling platform all the way over there. So I actually need to go over there and grab some of that at some point or another. Cool. Steve actually got all this done for me while I was yakking on like I normally do. And let's name this one Ice. Base Ice. Yep, that should be okay. Auto Ice. Drone. Yep, that's good. Excellent. So I'll just go quickly replace those GPSs, and I'll just get back to it 1 second. I just want to make sure that this has no problems in anything whatsoever. Here we go. Just flying on down after replacing those GPSs at the ice drill. Here we go. We'll lock to that one, and we'll go home. Hang on 1 second. GPS home. Ice dock. That should be good. Yeah, I think that should be okay. And then I'll just fly up just a smidge. There we go. And I'll do APPR for approach. Excellent. So we'll start at the home base, and we'll lay all of these GPSs needed into the actual block itself, which is actually a lot simpler than what you think it is. And then after that, I'll show you how to set up the absolute automated thing. Once a tank, or once this tank over here gets too low, I'm going to have this event controller looking at that specifically when it gets below a certain percentage, and trigger this drone's trigger timer. There's 4 timers per drone, because you need 1 for load, 1 for unload. You need 1 for the trigger and 1 for the RTB. So there's the RTB, and then there's the trigger. Just as easy as it can be. And that should not be on just yet, or should not be off just yet. I haven't just put that automated process in. That's really good with having a really simple drone like this as well. So let's go into its remote block. I should have just been able to go straight into this. Remote control ice drone. Excellent. So we need all of that sorts of stuff, and simply put, scroll down to the bottom, because that's where the new ones are going to be. We have ice, all of those. Cool. So we are now here. We need to go above us. Add that one. We'll need to go above the ice drill dock. So add that. Down to the ice drill dock. When it finishes its job, it needs to come back home. So fly above where it is at that point, which would be at the ice drill. Fly above where we are now, above the home dock, and then tell it to come down onto the ice dock. So I can actually just go ahead and remove all of these, because I'm pretty sure I know what this is going to be, as this drone could not be simpler. Remove that. Let's just go ahead and just reset the top one so there's no confusion in the game. When it gets above us, we want the remote block ice. Let's just copy that, because I'll be doing this a lot. I want it to turn the collision avoidance on its way to the drill. When it gets to the drill, oh, these ones shouldn't be like that. That needs to move up. It needs to go to the approach before it goes to the dock. So, when it gets to the drill dock itself, or above it, we need it to turn the collision avoidance off so it can run into the connector when it goes to the next GPS at the dock itself. When it gets there, we want it to turn the autopilot off, and we need to look up for the ice load timer. Where are ya? Nope, let's just rename it. I might not have remembered to do that. Load ice. There we go. It does have it now. Excellent. Let's go back to the remote block. There we go. And we want this one to turn off the... Oh, sorry, start the load ice timer. So when it gets to the drill dock, it turns off its autopilot, stopping it from going anywhere right then and there. And to start a load ice timer, which if I go to it, load ice... It just has a 2-second delay to make sure it's stabilized to connect, change over its sorters, and turn on a specific event controller on it that looks to see whether the drone's cargo is full or not. If it's full, go back home and trigger the RTB timer. But I'll explain all that in an in-depth 0.5 episode kind of thing. Today, we just want to get this up and running because I need ice ASAP. So once it's all full up, the RTB timer's all triggered, all that sorts of good jazz, we need it to actually go above. This must have stuffed it up a little bit. Where are ya? Ice drill dock. You need to go right there because once it's finished filling itself up at the ice drill dock, it'll need to go to the ice drill dock's approach right above itself. Turn that exact same collision avoidance on to the remote control, the correct one. When it gets above us now, we want it to turn the collision avoidance off so it can dock. It'll come on down, turn its autopilot off, and it will load or start to load the ice timer, which should be this one right there. This is all completely set up as is, and what I might do, since that was a little bit hectic, I might slow it down to like 30. Yeah, that should be okay. So let's shift F5 right there and let's get this thing set up. So let's go down here. The event controller, I should have enough. I need it to look at gas tank filled. Actually, wait. No, it needs to look at the... Yeah. This one. That's, yeah. Mental blank, and then it all of a sudden came back to me again. So, gas tank filled. Threshold. I'll do 50% if it's equal or less than that. And I'm pretty sure it's that one over there. So let's just go ahead and rename it very quick. Base, all caps, nice and easy. Something exploded. I'm not exactly sure what exploded, but something exploded. Yep. Okay. So the one problem I thought I had was the power, and this does not seem to be enough. Just does not seem to be enough, or at least to start with, to get the refineries to catch up as soon as possible. So that will need to be fixed. But you know exactly how that kind of runs, and that should hopefully be done, if not halfway done, in the next episode. So this one should be going. Let's get this going. Let's name this base ice, so we know which one we're talking about. And there's an event controller on this drone right here that we need to access. Event controller. Drone empty, ice needed. This one right here. So this one needs to look specifically at the base ice. Cargo container, that one right there. So once this one here gets below, say, 5% or something like that, there it is, so equal or less than 5%, it's going to trigger the drone up. But at the same time, when it does get below that, it's going to trigger this sorter to stop outputting any ice into the base. So this has the ability to go only just below the 5% inventory space. So when the drone gets back full of new ice, it'll actually allow the event controller to switch between action slot 1 and action slot 2, saying this is above the 5% value or whatever you're looking at. So I'm going to set all of this up off camera, nice and easy, and I'll explain it a lot further in point 5. So make sure you stick around for that and the uploaded blueprint of this once it's all fit in. I might even add all of this little bit here and an extra tank on the side in the blueprint for you to have the complete automated Doobalaki thingamabob. So yeah, that's all for the episode. I will make sure I get this one going as well, maybe episode 11 or something like that. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz, and stay sharp till next time as always. See ya.